Okay, so tell
Um,
me tell me more about that. You like
so yeah, like it's just like I have a lot of sisters, I have a lot of close female friends, and um, kind of settled on like who's going to be in the bridal party deal because Nick came up with the people who he wants to stand up on his side, and I was like, okay, but like I'm having a really hard time with like maid of honor kind of a deal and like bridesmaids and maid of honor. I don't like it. I don't like the terminology for it. Like really, I don't know why. It just like kind of bugs me.
does it feel very patriarchal
No,
sort of a thing?
I just don't want like my friends and family to feel like one person is like, like I don't want it to feel, I want everyone to know where they are, like where everyone on the same field and like understand their place and like that it's all like on the same level
So
and
you're
stuff. So
going
I
for
came up with,
equality. Is
yeah, I
that
came up
yeah.
with a really good term so everyone would know where they sat and where it was.
Oh fuck. Okay. What?
You guys are all
Based
you're
on your facial expression, I know it's gonna be silly as shit. All right, what is it?
you're gonna be my bride servants.
Almost spit out my wine.
I
Yeah,
know
that tracks. That tracks.
you're
That's
bride
like
servants.
honestly, that's like I hate to say it, but that's like the most Sagittarius thing I've ever fucking heard. Like
I mean, you're not
my
incorrect.
my bride servants.
Congratulations.
Wouldn't it be technically like handmaids?
I thought about that, but like in today's like media era, that one's a little loaded.
Mm, yeah, that's true. That is true. So,
They make you all wear little badges that say of Hannah.
yeah. Are your colors gonna be red? Like, do we get to wear like red capes with like the
The
hoods and
colors I think
stuff?
are going to be like purple and green, and I don't know if anybody cares about this at all. So, hi guys.
Welcome, welcome to our show.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah,
This is me, Hannah Jane,
yeah,
and
and
over
I'm
there's my bride servant Megan.
yay, yeah. Welcome to Tin Hat Time, guys.
Tin hat
It's Tin
time.
Hat Time.
It's time to
Um,
put on your tin hats. Gonna talk about weird shit.
yeah. So, as you're doing your wedding planning and all that, I have an area that you should never go.
Oh,
Um, yeah, so fun. This is an area to avoid. We're gonna revisit some of the missing 411
fucking
because
spooky.
I fucking love the missing 411 stuff. I go back and
Yeah.
I watch like the videos every once in a while because like David, I always fuck up his last name, Politis. We're gonna go with that. Um, he posts videos like weekly, basically, about cases of missing people, and so
I like how that's how many people are fucking missing from the US Park Service is that he can post weekly for years.
yeah, yeah. I mean, he's written books about it, so like he goes back and talks about old cases. It's not
Still,
just like recent missing people. So, for people who don't know if this is the first episode they're listening to, I would definitely suggest going
fucking
back.
buckle up
I would
and
definitely,
welcome.
I would definitely go back where we talk more about the missing 411. For the people who have listened to that, they'll kind of know what I'm talking about already. It's just people who go missing in national parks with really strange circumstances, typically never found again, or they're found in areas that had been previously searched. So the people we're going to talk about today, all of them vanished without a trace and have never been found. So,
Ooh,
yeah.
some good
So
spooky campfire shit.
yeah, exactly. It's like the perfect campfire tale. So, we're going to talk about four disappearances. All of them happen in Idaho County, Idaho,
Oh,
um,
great.
which is the largest county in Idaho. It is fucking massive. It's like the size of New Hampshire or New Jersey, like as like the entire
Ooh,
state. Like it's a fucking huge,
what fun
huge county.
destination is in Idaho
Uh,
County?
the the largest city, right, or like the seat of the county is Grangeville. So where it is, so if you're looking at a map of the
Do the
US,
do the do
where
the Michigan thing,
I'm not going to do
but
the
it's,
Michigan thing. I'll
but it's
make it clear
Idaho.
for everybody though, right? So where the Oregon and Washington border is, where that border is, basically if you look at that border as like an arrow to Idaho, that is where the county is. So it's smack dab in the middle of Idaho. You know, if you're doing the little hand thing, so let's do like the,
That's
two
what I'm doing right here.
finger right thing. It's like basically if you were to make your hand as two fingers pointing up or whatever, it would be like at the base of your two fingers, if that makes sense for our listeners. We'll see, but whatever.
It's like
Uh
if you're doing the Michigan thing, but with Idaho. So make your hand Idaho.
yeah, so wherever the long skinny strip of Idaho is, it's at the very bottom of that long skinny strip. So it's considered basically like north central-ish Idaho. So pretty far
But not quite
north.
the panhandle.
Not, no, not quite. It's like the edge of the panhandle. It's where
It's
it
really pretty up
attaches.
there, though.
It's very pretty. Huge forest. So it's the Nez Perce National Park. And so the
Oh, fuck me.
forests
I've been there before.
the forests kind of bleed into other forests, because that's how fucking massive it is. And so, like, if you're looking at a map, there's like on the Washington, Oregon side, there's like a
That's
couple
the West.
cities. Yes, so the western side of this county, there's little cities. On the eastern side, nothing. Literally fucking nothing. It is all forest, like uninhabited.
Bigfoot.
Yeah, I mean, really, like it is all very thick forest. So very pretty. Snows up there, all that good shit. And we'll start with our first case. Okay, so our first
God.
case is Lowell Smith, who disappeared.
Lowell.
Lowell. That's how I pronounce it. Lowell.
Lowell.
Yes, Lowell.
That's Lowell.
Lowell Smith disappeared October 5th, 1968,
Oh, shit.
in this region. So he disappeared Pilot Knob like mountain, which is about 20 miles east of Grangeville. So, right, Grangeville is the main point that we're probably going to focus on. We're going to talk about Elk City as well between these two areas. So if you pull up a map, it'll help explain this a little bit better. But
no one's pulling up maps, dude.
No. Okay. I did because I was less like, I need to know.
You're the one doing the research.
I know. But I also think
fuck nowhere, Idaho.
It is literally butt fuck nowhere. Like straight up, if you were to draw a line, it's like literally nothing nearby. Everything is green on the map. Like it's all forest. So Lowell Smith, he's from Nevada. He comes up to Idaho to go elk hunting, like a lot of people do in that specific county, in that specific forest, because it's really good elk hunting. There's literally Elk Mountain and Elk City
Cool.
in that region. So he'd hunted the area before, but he goes out for a hunt by himself. He'd done this a handful of times before, seasoned hunter, whatever. And he doesn't come back.
So you should really not ever go out by yourself. Like, you guys.
Yeah, these are the lessons we learned from the last missing 411 is have a personal tracking beacon is really the big thing. Is nobody ever goes missing with a handgun or a gun, right? And a personal tracking beacon. Like,
you know why? Because you can't go missing with one of those things.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Thank you in the end.
Mm-hmm. So anywho, so he goes out hunting, sets up his site and stuff, but obviously days go by, nobody hears from him. They go out to look. They find his campsite with, cigarettes that had been put out that he'd clearly been smoking. His gun is at the campsite though. He left his gun, which you never do, right? There's no hunter in their right mind, even to go take a piss, you take your gun with you because there's also a lot of bears in the area. It's just really dense woods.
4 mountain lions in Deadwood, and that's not even that far of the wilderness.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just, there's a lot of shit up there. There's moose, there's mountain lions, there's
real quick,
wolves,
y'all city people, moose are not cute and lovable and dorky.
They're really fucking scary. They'll fuck you up for sure.
They will kill you.
They're like
gigantic.
Yeah, way bigger than people think they are. Like, I mean, like, what is it?
Like they're bigger than a horse.
yeah, it's like 8 to 10 feet tall or whatever. Like, and like, imagine like a truck. They're like the size of a truck almost. Like, they're fucking huge and they're really aggressive.
Yeah.
Like, most moose are very aggressive. They can also swim. So, and I think we've talked about that in a previous episode, where they can
Hmm.
swim and they can fucking like shark attack you from below
From
in a
beneath with
lake.
their big fucking dorky looking horns
Yes,
things.
one more fear unlocked. So
So have fun in the water this summer, you guys.
So so Lowell leaves his gun at the campsite.
Idiot.
A snowstorm starts to happen, so they
Of
can't
course it
really
is.
go out and search for him. But he's never found. They never find him. They never find a single trace of him. Nothing. And I mean, he disappeared in '68, and there's nothing, no bones, nothing is ever found of him.
Well,
Um,
okay.
and in the '60s, I don't know, like they didn't like there's nothing about predation or anything. So it's like kind of like we don't it was a really long time ago. We don't know if they were,
And that is
it's
some
Johnny on the
wild
spot.
ass country. Like,
Yes. Yeah, and I mean in '68, you have to think about the population of Idaho as a whole was probably under a million people
I was like 12.
for the entire state. Like
It's like
currently
barely a
Idaho
million people now.
yeah, like currently Idaho County I think is sitting at like 16,000 people or something for a county. Yeah, like it's, you know, very sparsely populated. So it is really mostly just wilderness. Um,
And
yes,
people who are not fond of the government.
yes, that's most of Idaho.
Hmm.
So outside of, cities, and even then, I mean, yeah. So.
Yeah. Still, though, don't trust your government, kids.
Anywho, so obviously other people have disappeared in the meantime. From that region. But the next interesting one we're going to talk about is Ronald Gray, who went missing September 19th, 2008.
Oh,
So around the same time of year, obviously also an
just
elk
before we
hunter.
showed up.
Um, just before, did you say weed?
Just before we showed up to
Oh,
Idaho.
oh, okay.
4 years
Yes.
before.
Yes. I moved to Idaho in like 2012, so a few more
Yeah, me
years,
too.
but oh, that's right. I
No,
always
weed's never gonna get here. Come on, dude.
yeah, no, it's just surrounded by all the states that have legalized it. Um
It's ridiculous.
anywho, moving on. I just want to get through this one. Um so Ronald Gray is from Massachusetts. He comes out to go elk hunting. He is an avid hunter. He's working with an outfitter, right? An outfitter is somebody who's basically
Yeah.
like a hunting guide.
Hmm.
Um, and this dude is a former Marine. He was in the Vietnam War as a Marine.
The
He was
outfitter.
no, this guy who goes missing. Ronald Gray is the one who
Oh,
goes
okay.
missing. Ronald Gray is a former Marine. He had been in the state police force of Massachusetts for like 20 plus years.
Damn.
Um, and he had, just like other people, he had been hunting in this area before. And he, at one point, radios camp, right? So the outfitters, and says his knee's hurting and he's going to head back. It's about a mile and a half from camp. Um, they're like, okay, cool, whatever. After 3 days of him not showing up to camp, they're like,
Shit.
bro's missing, right? And the only reason they waited 3 days is because he had done this trip the previous year. And in the previous year, he had shown up a couple days late. So they're like, yeah, good old Ron, he's taking his sweet ass time, sort of a thing. Um, but he was equipped with warm gear. He had his rifle with him. He had fire starters, so they weren't expecting to find, a dead body or anything. They were expecting to find a fire and, him lost in the middle of the woods, sort of a
Yeah.
thing.
Camped
If
out somewhere.
exactly right,
Lost his radio or it went dead or something.
exactly right, and a mile away. I mean, that's really fucking close, right? A mile is really not that far, but in dense woods, you
It
know,
can be.
it can get really dangerous really fast. Um, so the only thing they ever found of Ron's was one fanny pack with like personal belongings a couple miles away at a lake. And that's it. They never found his rifle, his pack, nothing. right? He just straight up fucking vanished into the wilderness and was never seen from again. Um, yeah, gone forever, right? And
That's extremely strange.
yeah, so and he disappeared, I want to say about 50-ish miles south of where Lowell Smith disappeared. So this is all in this within like basically 50 to 100 square miles, because we're going to talk about two more people about it.
Hmm.
The next two are by far the most fucking interesting cases of the region. October 5th, 2018, right?
Oh shit, so this just happened.
Yeah, this is pretty recent. Terrence Woods disappears and Connie Johnson disappear on the same fucking day in the same region in a sparsely populated county in Idaho. This is also exactly, if you remember right, this is exactly 50 years after Lowell Smith went missing. He went missing on October 5th, 1968. It's fucking weird, right? Like that's one of those woo goosebumps. Is it a Wendigo? I don't know. But anywho, uh yeah, I know, right? Spooky as shit. Your face
I
is
have to keep
hilarious.
reminding myself that Dr. Jones is behind me.
Oh, you keep thinking it's somebody. Okay, so we'll start with Terrence Woods. Terrence Woods worked in television. He's 27, young guy. He was a PA, so production assistant, and he disappeared near the Penman mine. They were out there filming for the show Gold Mine.
Fun.
Yeah, and so he had, worked on a bunch of TV shows. I guess he worked on like the British like Idol show or something. Like instead of American Idol, there's like a British Idol. I don't know. Anywho, been in television for a while, world traveler, um, been around the block. I guess he's someone who has also been to the Alaskan backcountry, been to Turkey. So he's a pretty with it
Knows
guy.
his way around some dangerous situations.
Dangerous situations, yes, and also just sort of like, I mean, being a PA, I would assume that you're kind of dealing with a lot of stress too, pretty regularly. It's a pretty stressful job.
PA.
Production assistant.
Gotcha, thank you.
Yeah. So while they're wrapping up filming near this mine, Terrence just at fucking full speed sprints off of a cliff. Just down a cliff, because they all run and like look and be like, what the fuck, Terrence? And like look, and Terrence is like full speed sprinting into the fucking forest for no reason. They have no idea and no explanation. This dude doesn't have a history of mental illness, but he also didn't say anything. He just straight up fucking sprinted into the woods, and also, just like everybody else, was never seen from again. They couldn't find anything, not his cell phone that he had on him, nothing. And so it's been reported a couple different ways for Terrence. I guess, according to the Idaho County Sheriff log, one of the producers said he had had a nervous breakdown earlier in the day. And he had been texting his dad saying, hey, I'm going to come home early. I'm not going to come home in November like I originally planned. I'm going to come home in October, like October 10th, right? So 5 days after, this happened. So he had a plan. And then he wrote in his journal as well that was left at the hotel in Elk City, that he just really wanted to go home. He was homesick. He was just tired of all the traveling. He wanted to settle down and all that. But there's fucking no explanation. He just straight up bolted off of a mountain, basically. Like, with multiple witnesses. It's fucking bizarre, right? So,
I don't love it. It's very spooky ooky.
It is spooky ooky, right? And like the way I see it is, yes, he was depressed. Even if he had a fucking mental breakdown, he had a plan to go home. Why the fuck would you dart into the middle of the woods if you were planning on going home in the next few days anyway,
Right.
right? Like, just doesn't really make sense.
Unless you
So,
were like, not in the sound mind.
correct. We'll get to that at speculation. So,
Okay.
same fucking day. Same exact day, same exact year, same region. I want to say 50 miles south. No, I think it's north. I think I'm fucking it up. Whatever. Within 50 miles, Connie Johnson goes missing.
Connie.
Connie Johnson. Now, she is 76,
Of course
so
she is.
older lady, and she disappeared near Fog Mountain. Oh, I wrote it down. So it's 50-ish miles north of where Terrence was. Um, the last time she had been seen was on October 2nd, but she had had radio contact with hunters
October
because
or August?
October 2nd.
Okay.
Did I say August?
No, I misheard you.
Oh, okay.
Or you said August earlier and I latched
Ah,
onto it.
maybe, I don't know. Anywho, so she had last been seen on October 2nd. She had been in contact with hunters via the radio because she worked for an outfitter and she was the cook at a camp. And
Cool.
so, she would see hunters come
It's
and
just been
go.
her wilderness thing.
Correct. So she had last been talked to via radio on the third or fourth, but it wasn't very
Okay.
clear. People couldn't really understand her, and they're like, we'll see her on the fifth, right? Get to camp, Connie's gone, right? No fucking sign of Connie or her dog.
No.
I know, right? The dog. Just wait though. So Connie
Oh no,
was
dude.
a thoroughly experienced outdoorswoman. She was previously a wilderness ranger at Moose Creek Point, which is about
Damn, Connie.
15 miles away. So it's the same region, right? She was a
Uh-huh.
resident of the county and she fucking knew her shit. Like she had been doing it for 25 plus years in this forest, dude. Like she was around the fucking forest. So
Maybe she angered something.
I don't know, maybe. She also worked as just a backcountry guide. So she would take people out into the fucking woods and guide them. So, like, this was truly an expert for the region who vanished
Yeah.
without a trace. The US Air Force, the Idaho National Guard, helicopter rescue, they all went out and searched for her for about 2 weeks using like heat radar detection shit. No trace of Connie. None. Her dog, Ace, showed up at Moose Creek,
What?
skinny but alive.
Oh, thank God.
Right? This is 15 miles from where camp was. He showed up a few days, after they stopped the search, and
15 miles?
15 miles from where the camp was.
Oh,
Which I mean,
Ace.
for dogs, like for it being like 11 days, like basically about 2 weeks or so,
Yeah.
was when they called it off. That's not necessarily too far. I mean, especially if you think about if she went on a hike and was a few miles out. I mean, also the only thing I could think of is the dog went to where it knew, right? If the dog spent
Yeah.
a bunch of time with Connie at the, Moose Creek ranger
Whatever it's called.
station, then it would know, right, that general region and would get back to that place. But Connie was never found. Never found
Damn.
again.
Dog couldn't help find her, I guess.
Nope, they tried. Dog didn't lead him anywhere, right? Just Connie just straight up vanished.
Damn.
Even eerier, I'm gonna exit out of my stuff. Hang on. I'm gonna read you a quote that Connie said pretty recent before she disappeared, right? Like a couple months before she disappeared. So she said about being in the wilderness, I don't remember really being afraid of anything. I'm a spiritual and a faithful person, and I kind of gave over my life to, there's God taking care of me. And I know that, I did, but learned to, but I don't remember being fearful. There were lightning storms and there were creek crossings and there were lots of challenging things physically, but I'm naturally an impatient person. And this taught me, since I was by myself, to be careful about where you put your feet. You know, Connie, if you get hurt, there's no way anybody's going to help you. You're on your own. So it taught me to plan ahead about how I would negotiate this or that, or how to deal with the water supply or bee stings or that kind of thing. I just love being in this place so much. It took care of me, you know? It's a pretty overpowering feeling to look up into those hills, and especially being a flatlander like I was. I am still in awe of the power of those mountains and the power of the weather and the creeks and just the sheer hugeness of it and the fact that we're not in control of anything. It's fucking weird.
Damn.
That's weird that she said it, dude, and then she goes missing after
It's also
doing it
kind
for
of
25
gorgeous that
years.
what she said and how she said it.
Yeah, I mean, because it means, you know, she probably surrendered to whatever was going on, but also she knew what the fuck she was doing. Like, I mean, like, there's a certain point where, like, you're totally at, you know, Mother Nature's
Complete mercy.
exactly.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, she was
Damn.
someone who went into the wilderness typically prepared. So,
What about this other guy with the outfitters on the same day?
yeah, I mean, it's the same exact day. The one thing that bothered me, right, about um, these two instances is in the articles about Connie Johnson, they say that, oh, they got the Air Force and all this shit out, but they don't say anything about that for Terrence. And this is the same area on the same fucking day. And Terrence was a black dude, and Connie was a white woman who was a
Uh,
local, right? And if there's one thing we know
uh,
about specifically northern Idaho is it's racist as
uh,
fuck.
yeah.
Uh so there's that element to it that like definitely is pretty irritating.
Yeah.
There's also some speculation like Terrence's parents suspect more foul play because you know he was a black dude in a region that was not
Yeah.
very friendly
Yeah.
to anyone of color at all for the
And
most part.
certainly like no outsiders
Yeah,
or
so
otherness.
there's like that element to it, but like also, you know, because it's like one of those things where it's like, did he really just straight up bolt into the middle of the woods? Like all these people that were around him like were white people, and like I don't know. But it's a pretty high profile show. Like I mean, it's not like high profile, but like Goldmine, I've heard of Goldmine,
Yeah.
the
I've
reality
heard gold
show, and
mine.
so it's like it's just a really weird thing that you know that for that to happen, I guess. But it is definitely a little bit bothersome that Connie was clearly very heavily searched for, and Terrence was, but it seems like they split those resources a little bit unevenly.
Hmm.
A little bit frustrating, but yeah, the one thing that I don't know though is I don't know um there's a couple of these instances where people were working with outfitters, and we know that Connie Johnston works for Ritchie Outfitters, but Ronald Gray, don't know what outfitter he worked with. But it is kind of weird that it's the same region. There can't be that many of them. You know what I
I don't
mean?
know, man. I think the people up there probably, a lot of them make their money doing outfittery type things.
Yeah, probably. I just thought it was a weird. I mean, I guess it's probably not
Yeah.
that weird of a tie, but um, yeah. Uh, one of the sites that I
That's
discovered.
super spooky.
It is
I
spooky.
like that area, dude. I've been there before.
I think the weirdest thing is two people disappearing on the same exact day.
It's like pretty
One seeming to have some sort of like psychosis, you know, or breakdown and basically jumping off of a cliff and running into the wilderness. Um, and then an experienced outdoors person just disappearing, like, is wild. It's just really weird. Like, there's not a lot of people who go missing in that region. They do
hmm.
every once in a while, but for
You said
two
two on the
people,
same day.
that's the weirdest shit, right? It's two people on the same day within 50 miles of each other is just a little, it's a little weird. It's a little weird. Like, did Connie run into the woods like Terrence? Like, did something call them?
Well, nobody was there.
Exactly.
Ooh.
Yeah, nobody knows about Connie. There was witnesses for Terrence, but did something just happen to call? Right? And so with that, we'll get into speculation. And so
Ooh.
um one of the articles that I was reading about this suggested a phenomenon called panic in the woods. And
Panic.
yeah, not at the disco.
Backwood. Yeah.
Panic in the woods, which some people think is
I can only think of killer songs right now. I really wanted to try to
what? I don't know what you're talking about.
start a Panic at the Disco song, but singing about trees, but I could only come up with killer songs.
Okay, I'm gonna quote something else that I read in a article by strangeoutdoors.com, which I definitely suggest
Excellent.
is very, very entertaining. So, panic in the woods has been associated with the pagan god Pan, protector of
Excellent.
wild places, whose unseen presence inspires causeless terror. Victims experience an overwhelming feeling of paranoia, such as a sinister force nearby, and sense imminent danger. This usually leads the person to flee the area, desperately seeking out civilization. One curiously common characteristic of panic is that people often describe that the woodlands will go completely silent, deafening the witness before the loud, high pitched sound sets in a few moments later. Deafening silence and paranoia in the woods are related to the real life, air quotes, cryptid Goatman, and among other groups of paranormal monsters known as skinwalkers. Right?
Or also just the actual symptoms of having a panic attack.
Yeah, but like I've had panic attacks and I've never wanted to jump off of a cliff. But
No, I
there
I've had panic attacks where everything goes quiet and then there's a big loud
yeah,
"Ah!"
I've had one of those, right? Definitely experienced that. Like I think you see it in movies. Like what comes to mind
And you
is movies
can't really hear anything.
with there's an explosion. Like that's
Yep.
what comes to mind is like that sort of like ringing in your ears and there's like I can hear it's like I see all this stuff going on, but it's just like
Yeah, all
that
I can
like
hear is this horrible tinnitus sound.
mhm. Yeah.
And then I sometimes accidentally punch a wall, but I've never run into the woods.
Mm-mm. So the
Is that true? Yes, it's true.
um you've never run into the woods?
Not mid panic attack. I've absolutely run into the woods in a
Yeah.
fury.
Yeah. I'm just imagining you as like a Disney princess though, like running into the fucking woods like Snow White. Like
No more a petulant emo teenager who was raised in the backwoods of North Carolina.
oh man. So it's like you but wearing like baggy-ish black canvas pants with a lot of like not paper clips, clothespins. Did you do
Safety
the
pins.
safety pins? That's what they are. Like a fuck ton of safety pins in them.
Yeah. They were
Just
corduroy, I'll have you know.
so you were that's amazing. I have a great image in my mind. You belong at Hot Topic.
I
Anywho,
did.
I wanted to be that person, but I was too much of a goody goody, and my parents would have never let me. So
I don't think my parents were capable of stopping me. I also think they had a lot of their own shit going on.
yeah, yeah, different worlds. So funny. Okay, so the other possible explanation for at least Terrence, don't know about Connie, but for
Aliens.
maybe we're going with more realistic stuff is the thing called
How dare you?
high place phenomena, which is basically intrusive thoughts when you're up really high,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
So the intrusive thoughts of
You should jump off it.
you should just jump off, exactly, right? Or like
Shove somebody. Yeah.
exactly all of those really intrusive thoughts that I definitely have when I'm
Oh
up
yeah, for sure. That's
high
how I could come up
someplace.
with them really quickly.
Yeah, so that is one of those things, which is sometimes people do succumb to those intrusive thoughts. So, um, but
Damn.
yeah,
Really
yeah,
glad I take my meds.
kind of, kind of fucking crazy. Um, I don't know. I think that this it is an interesting theory, though. The theory of the god Pan, I think, is really interesting,
Well,
right?
that
That
is where we get the term panic.
yeah. So, I mean, the fact that all these people have disappeared in a similar region, um, the thing that
I don't
fucking
know what the
trips
Greek god of Pan is doing in Idaho.
it's the wilderness. It's the largest untapped or untouched wilderness in the lower 48. It is quite literally the largest one. So, um, I
Huh.
mean, America, we're the main character, or at least we think we are. Uh, yeah. I don't know. It is
Guess somebody could
interesting.
have brought him there, American God style.
I was see that's the thing that keeps popping into my head, right? It's definitely American Gods, which if no one who's listening has read it or listened to the audiobooks or watched the television
Don't watch the
series,
show. The show's it's fine.
it's pretty good. It just doesn't cover as much as the book, but
I don't like
um
it as much personally.
yeah. But Neil
Yeah,
Gaiman's American Gods, right? It's
it's
the
so fucking good.
the theory that not theory, right? It's a fictional book about basically gods from different mythology existing in America, everywhere, right?
Having been
Basically, it's
brought
like,
here by immigrants to America of
yeah, it's sort of
all
like
different kinds.
tulpas, right? Is sort of the idea is that like
Kinda,
they
yeah.
believe in this god
If you
so
get
much they
prayer, you're
create,
powerful.
yeah, they create basically a version of the god. So who knows? I don't know. You know, maybe there's something like that going on. I would think with all of the fucking skinheads that are in northern Idaho, you'd think it would be more Norse shit because they're all about the Norse shit now. Like
It's really irritating.
there's a hate group up there called like the Sons of Odin or something, or like the Laws of Odin. Like there's something about Odin. Um,
That's really
so
frustrating and irritating.
it is.
My fiance is Norse and like not
Yeah,
a creepy skinhead, gross weirdo, a lovely, sweet pea baby angel who just, likes the pantheon a lot.
yeah. So it is an interesting. It's an interesting theory, though, right?
Yeah,
That maybe
that the
there
gods
is
up there.
something in the woods, right? That is calling to people. But I mean, the whole thing about the skinwalkers, right?
Well, or hear me out here, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Bigfoot.
I don't. Yeah, but is Bigfoot a predator? Do we
Could
consider
be. If
Bigfoot
he's
like an apex
interdimensional, this
predator?
is how you're not finding any traces of anybody
Yeah.
popping in and out to hunt.
Yeah, but like I mean, not finding traces of anybody, like while that is a really scary idea, I think it's not
That's
something
like
that is
pretty reasonable.
out of the realm of possibility with
Oh yeah, no,
how
especially not in that area. Like
crazy
that
the
area,
terrain is. It's very
thick, deep
mountainous, very
woods.
thick. Yeah, I mean it is like thick. It's thick woods.
It's so thick it's making everybody in the room uncomfortable.
Correct. Correct indeed. So, um I don't know. I think the idea of skinwalkers is the craziest thing because some people say that skinwalkers will call to you. Um, there is that
Super
sort
spooky.
of lore, and with it being densely populated, whatever. I mean, who knows? I don't know. I do think it's interesting though that none of these cases show signs of predation, right? So no
Mm-hmm.
big predators, no bear tracks, no mountain lion tracks, nothing that would
No
indicate
moose.
no moose, right? Moose I don't think are quite
I'm being
considered,
an asshole.
yeah, predators. But I mean there's like wolves and shit up there. So,
Yeah.
but there's no signs. That's the craziest shit. There's just fucking no signs. These people straight up disappear. The weirdest thing is that one dude disappears on October 8th 68 or October 5th, 1968, and then two people disappear October 5th, 2018, like 50 years apart on the exact same
What's
day.
gonna happen on 2068?
Yeah, right? For real. Like, because that's like, this is the shit, like, when I was researching and I was like, I'm like Sam and Dean from Supernatural because this is 50 years apart and it must be some cryptid, sort of a thing. It felt very supernaturally while I was.
You're a beautiful, beautiful nerd, and I
Hmm.
love you with my whole heart.
I just can't help myself. I did because I was, on my laptop and everything too. Like,
Oh
just.
yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. I've had that feeling before too when I'm looking into like alien stuff or cryptids or whatever. I'm like,
Yeah.
where's my plaid shirt?
I mean, it does make you wonder though, like, what's in that area that's basically making people vanish every 50 years. So, or less. I mean, you also have to think about Ronald Gray disappeared in 2008, right?
Could
Uh,
have something to do with the eights.
right? Exactly, right? Like, is there a cycle to this, right? That we're not maybe picking up on people who disappear, every
Well,
so
now we need to
often?
dive into it.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't find really a lot about it. And you know what's crazy? And like, I know we talked about this on the previous Missing 411 episode, is the National Park Service does not have a missing persons list. And that to me is really fucking bizarre.
Dude, you know that pops into my head every once in a while, like just like while I'm at work doing my job or just like existing as a human, and then it goes, the
Like,
national parks doesn't have a registry of how many people have gone missing and when.
yeah, I think that's a really bizarre thing. I feel like you should be able to go on their
What?
website and look it up. But honestly, trying to find missing peoples in general in Idaho was like really fucking difficult to do. Like, there's one site, but then there's like different subcategories. You can't just like look up all of the missing people in Idaho. It's just like, miscellaneous stuff. Like, it's all different sorts of things that there's subcategories to it. And it's just like, this is dumb. Why can't I look by county where they were seen last? Like, and maybe it's just Idaho. I don't know. But I
I
would
don't
think
know.
that the National Park Service would have a running list, or at least each park would have
Yeah,
a
you hear us,
missing
Smokey the
persons.
Bear?
Yeah,
Get the
fuck you,
list
Smokey.
together, Smokey.
Yeah. So it's fucking weird though. It's a weird story. So
Yeah, dude.
my bet's
Well,
on
I'm settled as
skinwalkers.
fuck
So
now. Don't just keep talking about him, dude.
I don't think they're gonna come get me. And you live in a city, so but
Make
yeah.
me make my unhappy Muppet face.
I know. Your Sam Eagle face.
Fuck off. No. God, you're mean to me sometimes.
Says the
I'm
person
gonna
who's gonna
fire
call
you from
me
being my
a
bride
bride
servant.
servant. Yeah, exactly. So,
No, but it's charming when I do it.
mm-hmm. Yep, it is so charming. That's um, I'm just an asshole, so that's okay though.
No, Jesus. Fuck off, dude. You're such
Uh,
a bitch ass.
but
Oh.
anywho, I don't have any more to speculate about this
No,
unless you
that's
do.
fucking crazy. I mean, obviously I'd always love for it to be aliens every time. But
Who knows? Maybe there's
also
just
this is
jumps
like
in
some,
time.
like we were saying, some deep thick woods. People could just go missing. This is weird shit though.
Yeah.
That leaving no trace behind thing. I don't love it.
I think there's something like really primal about it. Really, at the end of the day, is this is a primal fear
This is
for
why
a
we
lot of
fear the
people.
woods and the dark.
Correct. That's the thing, is at the end of the day, we are afraid of the woods. We are afraid of the dark. We are afraid of being alone. And there is a really good reason for it. It's a evolutionary thing. So, the whole panic in the woods, it might not be induced by the great god Pan, but it's induced definitely by a primal fear. Like, we fear the woods for a reason.
Well, that's
So,
what created Pan.
yeah. Yeah, if you go with the tulpa thing, right?
Yeah.
So, or even if it's like poltergeist, right? Like, we fear it
Yeah.
so much that it creates this activity, and I don't know, there's lots of theories. I'm still betting on skinwalkers. That's my bet. So, This is the scariest fucking one. So,
I don't
yeah.
like it. I'm going with they wandered into the woods and fell down a ravine and will never ever find their bodies.
Yeah. So, yep.
Also, Bigfoot took them and or aliens,
Maybe.
which is also Bigfoot. Yay!
Maybe it's all of it, you know? Who knows? Bigfoot's an alien who took them, or they slipped through time. Who knows? But yeah. Everybody's listening. Let us know what you think. Write us, post on our Instagram. Let us know your thoughts. Send us an email at tinhattimepodcast@gmail.com. Slide into our DMs on Instagram.
Just a singing, slide on in there. Yeah, slide it on in. Slide into my DMs.
Also, thank you to everyone who has subscribed to our channels and listens to us regularly. Like, we really appreciate it.
Thanks, Kath. Thanks, Brighton, Angela, all of our regulars, Isabel. It's always lovely to know that you guys are out and about, floating around, listening to us. Daddy, what's up? Turns out my dad is here.
Yeah, he's still listening. Kelly, Haley. Those are like the only two people that I know that listen. Kevin. My mom, I think, sometimes too. Yeah, fuck you, Kevin, though. Anyway, thanks so much. Please, if you get a chance and you have not subscribed, please subscribe, rate, and review us. It helps us out tremendously. And yeah, we'll talk to you next time.
Fuck yeah, we will.
Yeah, more scary stories for next time. All right, thanks, everybody. Have a great time. Bye.